the living shit out of the Indiana Fever. So Indiana Fever, and it's been my belief that they will freaking fire everyone. And I do believe this. So if you're a Fever fan and you're hoping they'll keep Caitlin Clark, it's my belief that when push comes to shove, there's no way they can let her get away. They will fire everybody and start over. That's my belief. I cannot imagine the level of fumbling the bag that would have to be done.
What do you get when Gatorade tries to ride the Caitlin Clark wave but forgets who is actually paddling? You get a flaming PR disaster with extra electrolytes. The WNBA thought they had a slam dunk. Turns out it was more of an airball into a dumpster fire. And wait till you hear what fans really think. Fever management might want to sit down for this polo, and Caitlin just racked up $660,000 like it is pocket change. Grab popcorn, this one is juicy.
Caitlin Clark meant to the WNBA.
Everything. She's changed the dynamic and history forever for women.
I see a lot of young girls here today, and I see how inspired they are, and she's even gotten me back into basketball.
I think she has brought attention. She did it for us. We had never watched, and we have become big fans.
I don't think her contributions have been extreme as what people think they are. I think the league in itself has been getting better, and that's really what we should be focusing on.
I think she's brought a lot of attention to the WNBA, and it's needed.
I think it's great. I actually grew up watching the WNBA, so it's really exciting to see a resurgence.
She meant everything. I never watched it before.
If she leaves the Fever, I am gone too. That is no longer a whisper. It is a full-blown rallying cry. Caitlin Clark is not just playing in the WNBA. She is the WNBA for a whole new generation of fans who did not even know what a Fever was 6 months ago. With the way things are unfolding, Indiana might need to hire a custody lawyer soon, because it looks like Caitlin is about to walk away with half the fan base in the divorce.
And there's enough votes here. This is a good test to see how bad this would be. Swag put this out, and it's starting to make the rounds. I voted. Okay, Fever fans, answer this. If Caitlin leaves Fever, would you still support the Fever? We got 1,145 votes here. Nope, my bags are packed is far and away leading.
These are not casual fans either. These are diehards, converted, baptized, and fully immersed in the Church of Caitlin. They do not care about zip codes or team colors. Caitlin is the logo. Her jersey is not just a uniform, it is a GPS. Wherever she goes, they follow. The loyalty is not to Indiana, it is entirely to her. The rest of the roster love them, respect them.
Letting her cook. Me dinner.
I'm buying Powerade stock.
Is it a play on, like, women shouldn't? No, they didn't do it on purpose. There's no way. How you came up with this and not in the back of your minds, like, oh, they're just gonna be like, oh, it's women, she just needs to cook. Didn't think about that in the PR room. Look, I'm a big advocate of.
But when the lights go down and it is time to choose between a franchise and the phenom who made you care in the first place, there is no debate. It is double C or bust, and Fever fans are sweating because it is starting to look a lot like bust. Not because Caitlin is underperforming. Oh no, she is doing exactly what she was drafted to do: bring attention, ratings, packed arenas, and oh yes, help turn this sorry franchise into something resembling professional basketball. The problem is the only person who has not seemed to notice that might be her coach.
Listen, NBA players make 50% of revenues. WNBA players make 9%. And now the merch sales are up 500% and attendance is up, 40%. So they're going to get a raise. There's no question. And I don't really care that the previous 25 years they didn't make a lot of money or lost money. I don't care. They're in the middle of a negotiation and they're on a heater. So it doesn't really matter. I've said this before. I made an investment for 5 years and it lost money, and I got about 6 months left in the investment, and in the last 6 months they started making cash. I'm not bailing on the investment. I want to finally get my money back. So they're going to get a raise. They're finally turning a corner. But and negotiating in any business is all about current momentum. It's not about 12 years ago, it's about current momentum.
Because somehow the game plan sounds less like empower your superstar and more like maybe next quarter, which is hilarious because, spoiler alert, they are not winning, they are losing, and losing ugly. But somehow when it is time for the post-game chat, the same script plays out. One player cannot hit water. If she fell out of a boat, goes 2 for 14. And the coach's response, keep shooting, honey. They will fall eventually. Caitlin takes one contested 3 in crunch time and gets an instant lecture. That is not just confusing, that is borderline performance art. Fans are not blind, they see what is happening, and they are not sticking around to watch a slow-motion sabotage of the only reason they bought tickets in the first place. The message is loud, clear, and repeated more times than a WNBA highlight on ESPN3. If Caitlin leaves, we'll leave.
Clark is a media driver. She is a ratings driver. Think about the NBA post Magic and Larry, the NBA post Michael Jordan, tennis post Serena Williams, golf post Tiger Woods, right? There are certain athletes that drive the sport more than others. And that's not to take away from anyone else drafted tonight. That's not to take away from the other incredible superstars in the WNBA right now.
Caitlin Clark is a media driver. She is a ratings driver. I think about the NBA after Magic and Larry, the NBA after Michael Jordan, tennis after Serena Williams, and golf after Tiger Woods. There are certain athletes that drive the sport more than others. And that is not to take away from anyone else drafted tonight. That is not to take away from the other incredible superstars in the WNBA right now.
T-shirts don't bother me. But why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose, Caitlin Clark? You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're flying private. Okay, if you're in a band and you're staying at the Motel 6 and you add a band member and now you're at the Ritz-Carlton, keep your issues to yourself.
Because this is not just fandom, it is migration, and Caitlin Clark is the monarch butterfly. These people are not packing Fever merch, they are packing portable allegiance, and they do not care if she ends up in New York, Las Vegas, or the Bermuda Triangle. They are following. It does not matter if the team changes name, cities, or suddenly rebrands as the Toilet Paper Tornadoes. If CC is on the roster, they are all in. It is not just a trend, it is a full-scale phenomenon, and Fever management should be terrified. See, these fans are not trying to be dramatic. They are just stating the facts. Caitlin is the reason they even gave the WNBA a chance. It was not the league's marketing. It was not the flashy promos or the Instagram reels. It was one Iowa kid with Steph Curry range, insane court vision, and the charisma of a late-night talk show host. She made women's basketball must-see TV. Now imagine voluntarily sidelining. That it is like discovering a gold mine and then deciding to pave over it to build a strip mall. It makes zero sense, and the investors are furious. And yes, fans love the rest of the squad. Nobody is trying to erase the rest of the roster.
23. I'm going to pass on that question, actually. WNBA star Caitlin Clark is transforming women's sports. She fills arenas night after night, and her games have smashed TV viewership records. And if you watch Clark play, well, it's not hard to figure out why. She makes deep three-pointers look easy. And like all stars, wants the ball when the game is on
the worst part is it is starting to look intentional, like there is some twisted logic being applied behind the scenes. Keep the rookie humble. Do not let her get too big. Make sure the veterans get their touches, even if their shooting percentage is closer to a Powerball jackpot than the league average. Meanwhile, the fans are screaming, just let her cook. But every time she heats up, someone yanks the pan off the burner. Now combine that with awkward body language, tense press conferences, and questionable late-game decisions, and suddenly the Caitlin Clark fan base is not just loyal, they are angry. They feel like they have been sold a bill of goods. You cannot hype up your new superstar, sell her face to every brand from Gatorade to garden hoses, and then treat her like a glorified decoy during the actual game. That is not strategy, that is sabotage in slow motion. So what happens if she leaves? Simple. The WNBA experiences the largest fan exodus since the invention of streaming services. One day you are playing in front of packed houses and record-breaking viewership. The next it is crickets and reruns of Ninja Warrior are pulling higher ratings.
And I think it's like something where if you are a star in the WNBA like Caitlin Clark, she's probably one of the few people that anybody you can mention to somebody that knows sports will know Caitlin Clark. Yeah. She's getting a ton of deals. Coke, Gatorade, you name Nike deals. Now, I know a lot of the other players, like if you're the 12th person on the team, you're probably not making that much money, but I just feel like coming out like this, what are they going to bargain with? What is their like thing they're coming with that's going to change their salary? And that's what I was trying to figure out. I couldn't understand because they're already rev sharing. The NBA already gives them money. compensates for the loss they make every year because they lose 50.
And do not think this is all talk. These fans are not bluffing. They have already started scouting other cities. They have map spreadsheets and group chats. Some have rental apps open in Phoenix. Others are learning the Las Vegas zip code system. There are Caitlin Clark watch parties being planned in states she does not even play in yet, just in case she gets traded, because they are not tied to a logo. They are tied to a legacy. They did not fall in love with Indiana basketball. They did not even know what a fever was 6 months ago. This is not just fandom, it is a hostage situation. Fever management had one job: do not screw this up. And yet here we are watching as they seemingly try to break the only thing that is working. Caitlin Clark fans did not come this far just to be ignored, and they are not going to quietly cheer for her while she is reduced to a glorified ball shuttler. So yes, when people say they will leave, if she does, believe them, because for them, Caitlin Clark is not a player, she is the product. The entire ecosystem revolves around her. Take her out of Indiana, and that team is back to being just another name in a box score. Put her anywhere else, and that city instantly becomes the epicenter of WNBA fandom.
Bird. She had Van Slugenhagen on her. She was like, I'm offended that y'all have white defensive players guarding me, and she put her in the torture chamber. You should have known from her little face that she didn't want this matchup from the beginning. Caitlin reminds me of what Dame does. If anybody ever noticed, her first shot always a three. First quarter, second quarter, third. She sets the distance on her first shot, so you have to guard her there. Now she can do whatever she wants to do. She's playing a chess game. That's what Dame does. He starts his game off. He's gonna shoot a deep-ass 3 to 4.
But here is the kicker. Caitlin Clark is not built for the backseat. She is not an accessory to some outdated game plan held together by gum and vibe. She is the engine, the GPS, the Spotify playlist, and the reason the car even started in the first place. And yet game by game you can practically see Stephanie White handing out emotional speed bumps and strategic U-turns like she is directing traffic instead of running an offense. It is wild because this is not even about subtle disagreements on play style anymore. This feels personal, like the kind of energy you give someone who was dropped into your house by corporate and now you are forced to host the dinner party with a smile, except in this case the dinner guest is cooking 5-star meals, paying the rent, and somehow still getting told to just relax and pass the salt. Let us call it what it is: resistance. From day one it felt like Stephanie White was gritting her teeth through the Caitlin Clark era. All the high-minded talk of embracing her game vapor. Instead we have gotten game plans where Clark is left parked in a corner while teammates with a green light throw up bricks like they are building a WNBA themed Olive Garden, endless breadsticks, no buckets. And yet when Clark manages to squeeze out 15 assists, 23 points, and some viral highlight while ducking elbows and referee chaos, silence, no celebration, no praise, just another tight-lipped post-game speech about spacing or letting the game come.
NBA before Caitlin Clark and the WNBA after Caitlin Clark. Describe these two worlds.
Oh, it entirely different. 180, you know. The WNBA before started in 1997, the year after the Atlanta Olympics, and was launched into a time when women's sports was still not taken seriously by a lot of, people. And some of those same guys now, if we want to talk about before and after, some of those same guys, or guys like them, are the ones buying the 22 jerseys, wearing them to games, Major, but also to the grocery store and to the gas station. It is now cool to be a WNBA fan, and it is cool to love Caitlin Clark and the spotlight that is finally shining on these players.
It never stops yelling recalculate, let her cook, turn around. Caitlin has fans from every state, every time zone, every tax bracket, middle schoolers, 80-year-old basketball lifers, casuals, diehards, even people who still think the WNBA is played on a 9-foot rim. She is not just a player, she is a brand, a revolution. The WNBA's golden goose, laying media engagement eggs faster than the league can cash them. If the marketing team had it their way, she would be wearing a camera on her head and live streaming her morning stretches. But on the court you would think she was a second-round bench warmer the way she is used sometimes, and we are all supposed to pretend like that is normal. Please.
About the Olympic stuff.
On the night that I broke the news, someone read me the list that Caitlin Clark was not on the Olympic team, which was June 7th. She had just had 30 points and 7 threes against Washington in an amazing game. And bottom line on this is they did not want her on the team. There was either a sense that she needs to wait her turn, They wanted to give Diana Taurasi the going away present. Name another time when you would ever give an athlete a going away present with an Olympic berth. Outrageous. So Caitlin said, hey, it's okay. And in interview, she said, it's all right, I'll make it the next time. Well, in the book, I have a wonderful anecdote from then.
Stephanie White can drop all the coaching cliches she wants, stick to the plan, everyone has a role, let us not skip steps. That is all well and good until you realize the only step being skipped is letting Caitlin Clark be Caitlin Clark. And the funniest part is it is not working. The Keep Caitlin Contained experiment is not producing wins, it is producing chaos, confusion, and miscommunications that look like they were choreographed by Sir Dussel. Meanwhile, fans are losing it because they see exactly what is happening. It is basketball 101 with a splash of common sense, but Stephanie White seems determined to run the Caitlin Clark experience through a meat grinder of "we do things my way."
I was mesmerized by her, and I will tell you this. This was the greatest performance I've ever seen in the NCAA tournament, girl or boy. Greatest performance.
On this biggest stage.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because rarely does a game like this live up to its hype.
Yeah.
Rarely do you have the two superstars play like superstars, because you got to understand the scout report is geared to stop you. All the hype coming into this is going to be people who've never watched a girls basketball game watched. A lot of people watch for the first.
That would be fine if Away was producing championships. Instead, it is producing late-game meltdowns and fan-based meltdowns often simultaneously. So here we are mid-season, and the narrative is clear. Clark did not walk into a team ready to elevate her. Luckily, she is not alone, because Caitlin Clark is not just another player. She is a movement, and movements do not sit quietly. They do not wait politely for permission to shine. They take over. They explode through resistance like a highlight reel dunk in slow motion. And if the Fever does not wake up fast, they will be the answer to a trivia question, not a dynasty. So yes, maybe Stephanie White never wanted Caitlin Clark. Maybe she wanted someone easier to mold, easier to coach, easier to ignore. But tough luck, she got a phenom, a lightning bolt in high tops, and no amount of stubborn game plans is going to stop what is coming. Caitlin Clark is not waiting for a green light anymore. She is the light. The question is, will the Fever keep dimming it or finally let it shine?